Alright folks, what is up? This is One Big Bugger and I am coming at you with Euro Truck Simulator 2. And today we are continuing our picking your first truck. And yesterday we looked at the DAF XF. Today we look at its younger brother, the most recent released, although not for much longer, DAF XF Euro 6. What the DAF XF lacks, and the problems that the DAF XFs have that I put into the previous video, the Euro 6 more than makes up for it. The Euro 6 is a very impressive truck and a major step up from the DAF XF. And why don't we take a quick look right now at the basics of the DAF Euro 6. 4x2 space, as you can see here. Left-hand drive. The basic engine is 410 horsepower as opposed to 360 horsepower from the DAF XF. So you actually get not only a newer truck that improves upon all the problems that the DAF XF have had, you also get a more powerful truck to the tune of 50 more horsepower, 300 more newton meters at 1000 to 1425 RPM. We have the basic ZF AS-tronic transmission. It also comes with 200 more liters of fuel, 1400 as opposed to 1200 from the old DAF. Oh, right, I'm in the truck, so I can't do an upgrade on it. The Euro 6 still suffers from the same problem as the DAF, and let's see if we can, it still suffers from one problem that the DAF suffers. The XF. Oh, right. Hey, I shut that off. Thank you. Oh. There's a garage right behind me. There we go. In position. Okay. And that is this over here, the engine. Despite the fact that it starts with a more powerful engine, 410 versus 360, it still only upgrades to 510 horsepower. So you only gain roughly 100 horsepower at the highest level that the truck can give you, and you only gain 500 more newton meters. In all due honesty, that's not really a lot. I'm just making sure we have the AS-tronic transmission, not the Tronic R. So, yeah, that's not the best thing in the world. So, let's back it up here into the sun a little bit. There we go. Oops. Go neutral. Shut it down. And let's jump outside the truck real quick. Let's get rid of these. Now, as you can see here, the DAF still retains its blocky look, but it still manages to look modern. It captures the older DAF look while still managing to move itself forward into looking like a new and modern truck, which I think is really actually pretty good. For people that love and enjoy DAFs, this keeps the look of the older DAF while putting a new spin on it. And I don't know how to explain it beyond that. As you can also see, it keeps the triple wipers, but if you look closely at the windshield, you'll see, as you've been seeing when I get back inside, it's actually a much larger sight view than the original DAF. So, that being said, well, take a look at the back here first. The back actually looks a little bit cooler than the DAF because it has that plating over there, over top of this grate plating rather. But the one thing that the DAF Euro 6 suffers from a little bit as compared to the DAF is the chassis is just a little bit shorter. And a shorter chassis tends to mean the truck's going to be a little bit more unstable. This is the one thing that the original DAF has over its younger brother, the Euro 6, is that it has a shorter chassis. If you take a look at the original DAF, the gas tank that we're looking at on the same side on that truck is huge. It is extra long. It's just that there's a slightly bigger tank over here as opposed to over here, I'm pretty sure. But that is a shorter chassis as compared to the DAF. Not really a huge deal, but it could mean the difference if you're used to driving a DAF and hurling yourself around corners while towing 18 tons or so. So anyways, back inside, thank you. Let's straighten out our steering wheel here so we get a good look. Now take a look at the windshield. The windshield is actually larger. You actually have a better view. It's not phenomenally larger, but it's actually bigger, and it still looks really good. Again, it's kind of capturing the feel of the older DAF while moving it into the future of the new DAF. And this is something I really enjoy on the truck. Just the fact that you can actually see a little bit better. I don't feel so tunnel visioned in, and I feel like I can enjoy more of the scenery as it rolls by me. And the mirrors over here, as you can see, they're still kind of keeping, let's go back outside the, oops, wrong button for a minute. Back outside the truck for a minute. They're still keeping that metal bar with these, in this case, actually it was like this with the original DAF. It passes through rather than having that bolt-on look. But look at the improvement. Look at the improvement in the mirrors. The top mirror is larger. It's taller. You have a much better view. The smaller mirror has a more decent shape. It doesn't have this thinning, oval, oblong kind of weird, funky looking shape. And it's a bit easier to see even in the smaller mirror, even though the smaller mirror technically in terms of length is smaller, but it's taller, which is fine. It gives you plenty of sight view in the back. And then finally, the space between the front pillar and the windows, there's no longer that secondary glass pillar, so you actually have a little bit of better view in between this area here where the front pillar meets the, you know, the mirrors. You have that little bit of extra space, so it makes it a little bit easier to see out of the truck on the side. The interior looks really nice on the DAF. They've extended the wood on it. You know, I'm pretty sure it's not real wood, but they extended the wood on it with the gray and the dark gray, the light gray. I mean, it's an all gray interior, but it's just, it looks like better material. It looks like a better truck. It doesn't have an old feel to it. It doesn't have, I mean, I kind of likened the DAF XF interior, although I never mentioned it in the other video, to a Pacer interior. Have you seen some old Pacer or Gremlin interiors, man? I mean, we're talking plaid in some cases. But this definitely looks much better, much cleaner, and a lot more modern, to say the least. Now, the DAF, the Euro 6 here, there we go, again, has its own unique sound, and it's a really good sound. I very much enjoy it, to say the least. You just hear that engine start up, and listen, it's nice and quiet. It's not too loud, but when you're going, you can hear it. When you're braking down, well, braking down is kind of the wrong word. When you're slowing down, you can hear it, and it's just overall really good. The dashboard also does not feel as cramped. It feels like there's more space. The forward display is easier to read. It's a little bit more clear. It's still a bit cramped and a bit small though. And it's still a little bit difficult to read, but it's a vast improvement over the original DAF. You turn the lights on, you can see the different colorings, the red on the black, the green, the blue, and the red stripes for your RPM light up better. And you can flip through your dashboard displays here. Look at that. Look how cool that is right there. There's your fuel readout, water temp, and this is, I believe, your air pressure readout. So it's definitely a major improvement. And then finally, it does have an in-dash GPS, which the original DAF didn't. So you can drive without that, the floating GPS, if you want to. However, the GPS is really small. And as you're driving, as you're looking forward, it's just kind of out of the way a little bit more. And I don't know, it feels too small for what it should be. But beggars can't be choosers. I'm not putting a damper on the sides because you can actually still see it well enough to use it. It doesn't actually become that much of a problem. So I'm not striking out against that in terms of usability. I just prefer the floating GPS because it's easier for me to see. So as you can see, in basics, the DAF is a huge improvement. The Euro 6 is a huge improvement over the XF. But how does it drive? Let's find out. Let's take a look at our job market and see if we can find ourselves a short trip from here. Really not fond of going over the pond, although that would have been good at 25 tons. 321, that's only 3 tons, man. That's really not worth it. 17 tons, 456. Yeah, I think this is the one. 17 tons is pretty good. And it'll give you a really fair comparison to the old DAF, because the old DAF we towed 18 tons. So this is only 1 ton less. So we'll take this base trailer here. I'm sorry, I bumped the microphone, putting my mouse down out of the way. Whatever. Now something else that's unique to the DAF Euro 6, if you take a look, I'm in R2 with the basic transmission. So it does have an R1 and an R2. 2 reverse gears as opposed to 1 reverse gear. A little bit more volume for me. Now, I love that directional sound. It's much deeper and, to me, less annoying than the original DAF, which was the high click-click. I always feel like trucks should have I don't know, just everything about a truck should sound lower than a car. That includes the directional ticking. It's weird. That's just how I feel. But the DAF's dashboard is really set up well to make it so that you can drive without the floating GPS. If you take a look in the center of the tachometer down bottom, let me finish turning in here and getting this. Yeah, okay. I apologize. Come on. Yeah, take job. Okay. If you take a look down the center of the tachometer on the right, in the bottom, in that little spiky wheel, that's your gear. So if I shift up to 5th, it goes to 5. Shift down to 3rd, goes to 3rd. You know what would really help? If I had my other mirror so I could see where that part of the truck is. That would really help. Alright, we are in place. Well, almost. Let's hook it up. Let's take a quick look outside the truck. And that looks sweet. That red color on it, man. Passion red, I guess. It just looks like a really good truck. It's just such an improvement in every way, shape, and form around the regular DAF XF. The Euro 6 is just so pretty. And even just starting out here, 17 tons. Yeah, only 1 ton less than the DAF pulled. I had to roll back there. Apologize. Trying not to sniff too much. Like I said, I can't mute this microphone, like I could mute the other one, and hopefully I'm not getting much wind interference. I gotta get me a pop filter at some point. I gotta try and get one. Just because the guy never sent it, like I said in the last one. But it's just such a smoother start. It's not struggling versus the trailer that much. It just feels like it's just digging in and towing the load. Oh yeah, the bass horn sounds good. You gotta enjoy the bass horn, because you're not gonna be able to put air horns on your truck when you first get it. So having a good bass horn is pretty good. And that almost sounds like an air horn right there, so. See, I'm not even full throttling this right now, and I'm just building speed, no issue. It just feels better, more comfortable to drive, more open. There we go. The one problem I do tend to have with the Euro 6 is if I don't pay attention, it's really, really easy to actually over rev the engine and go above 1500 RPM. Now, you see right there, I didn't realize that I had over revved the engine until it stopped accelerating and got really, really high. So until you get used to the sound, it's real easy to over rev the engine. The one thing I do like about the DAF when it comes to the sound is, compared to a lot of other trucks, it is quieter. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You can still hear the whine of the big turbo, but it's not grating. The engine, you can hear the growl, but it's not too loud. And it just, well, I don't know how to put it other than it reminds you that you're driving a truck without ramming down your ear canals that you're driving a truck. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's just like perceived preference or whatnot, but the DAF just seems to glide along the street a lot more smoothly, or the Euro 6. It's hard to refer to a truck beyond its first name for me, so saying DAF comes naturally as opposed to saying the DAF Euro 6 or the Euro 6 versus the XF. So I apologize for that if there's any confusion. But the Euro 6, I don't know, like I said, if it's just perceived preference or what the case may be. Like I said, just somehow it feels like it steers smoother, it rolls smoother. Look, even over this exit where the road's a little bouncy, because, you know, all exits in harder corners like that tend to have a bounce to them. It just rode it smoother than the XF did. And the interesting thing too is once you get up to cruising speed, whatever that may be, when you're in the Euro, the engine again isn't all that loud. The RPMs don't sound like the engine's, you know, heading towards an explosion. It just has this constant drumming sound. You know, it's It's just like a beast of burden just doing its job, and you know, basically it enjoys it. You know, it's how I view the Euro 6. It's just a beast of burden that enjoys the job that it does. It knows that it's what it's created for, so it does it without complaint. I know some people may find it weird referring to a machine like that, but if you're any kind of truck driver, bus driver, anything else that enjoys their job, much like I did when I was a tour driver, and more so any guy who has a car they really like, you tend to start referring to them as almost living, breathing beings. They have their own personality, their own attitude, their own way of doing things, their own quirks. And where the XF kind of just seems like a tired old beast that's just out there doing its routine, the Euro 6 seems like just a much younger and more powerful version, which technically speaking, of course, it is. But instead of being tired and grumbly and you know, just overall a bit of a pain to work with, the Euro 6 is just, you know, a joy to be with. One thing the Euro 6 does have, and this is more of a trademark now than anything else, as you can see, still has the still has the triple wipers. And if you take a look, the wipers on the Euro 6 are actually larger to cover the bigger windshield. So I figure that's pretty cool, to say the least. Yeah, this is where I get off. I thought there was be another exit. $17 tons up a hill, 9th gear. Look at this. Hardly losing power at all. 9th gear all the way, 17 tons around that corner. What more can you ask for? Come on. Don't wait all day, dude. I like watching the other trucks go by. So not a whole lot more I can talk about until the end. So just going to kind of talk about random stuff here. If you want, you can hop to the end of the video and get my final thoughts. Anything else that I bring up will probably be in the final part of the... Thank you. Will probably be in the final part of the video, but I don't think I'll be saying much else without repeating myself, and I'm doing a really terrible job here getting my sight zeroed in, and I apologize. So yeah, just going to be random talk from here to the end of the video, and then little quipping notes if anything else comes up along the way. And I'll tell you right now, if there's one thing I hate, it's waiting. God, I hate waiting. You know, everything that I have coming, I've got to wait for. And it's not going to be here till at least sometime next week, if it goes by the delivery schedule. In short, you know, the vacuum and 2 fans I have coming, not going to be here till around the 21st at least, if not later. The video card, scheduled for the 21st. My keyboard, scheduled for the 20th. I'm just kind of sit there and I'm like, you know? I hate waiting. It's my stuff. Give me my stuff. Nice easy corner there into that. I will say that despite the shorter chassis, I really feel like the DAF is just a wider truck overall, so is just really stable. And I'll make sure to mention that in the end of the video. It just feels like a really stable truck still. Something DAF was known for even in the XF. Very hard to roll. Just enjoying the engine right now. Let's take a quick pop outside the truck in here. Just look at her driving. Listen to that. Yeah? Those wheels turning. And then quiet cruising, and then just plenty of engine power. Alright, back in the truck before I crash. Before I crash. Thank you. This truck, it just glides over everything, you know? It just glides. Round corners, over flat roads, over bumpy roads, up hills, down hills, doesn't matter. It just thunders along, and it's definitely the type of truck that you can drive to just enjoy this game, especially if you have a map mod. If you have a map mod, you could just drive this truck to enjoy the game. Look around and enjoy the scenery, you know, put it up on high settings and really enjoy the views that are out there for you to enjoy. Actually, I'm a little bit up on the speed of where I want to be. I want to, well, it's not going to stay that way. Not with these corners, it's not. It's very easy to stay in top gear, too. 12th gear down to 75 kilometers per hour, and it's still just chugging. You know, and I was up at 100, so that's a 25 kilometer per hour range that you can just still stick in gear. And even climbing a shallow hill, I only lost a kilometer. So you won't have to worry about shifting through gears too often to make it up and over a hill or down or whatever. It'll just do it. I shouldn't be passing here. It's alright. Slow it down. Chose to shift there because it was getting a little bit low, but still only had to go down one gear rather than 2 or 3. Sadly, we're gonna lose our momentum because there is another truck coming, or bus. Yeah, I should have known that was coming. And now that I don't have the momentum to pass him, nothing's going to show up. The minute I have the momentum, that's when things will start hitting. Right? Right. Oops. No, actually we're good. We're going to be. We've got enough room to make this. I meant to blow the horn earlier, but I instinctively go for the air horn because I'm used to having the air horn, which is the space bar on my keyboard, rather than the standard horn, which is not the space bar. Alright, light is white, that means it's good. Let's just bomb across this railroad crossing. Look at that. Just right over it, no problem. Of course, I'm pretty sure game-wise any truck could do that, but there's just something about being able to bomb over it like that that's just really impressive. There are some trucks that will actually have a bit more difficulty having a stiffer suspension. Yep, we're not going to be able to do that, so we'll do the safe thing. So, safe in comparison to what I've been doing. Which is just get over into the dirt and stop. Had that been real, that'd have been disastrous, because there's no way I would have stopped that well. But then that's one of the great things about playing a simulation, isn't it? You can do ridiculous things like that and have it be okay. Wonder if we'll get by him this time. Maybe. Seems to be a lot of traffic still coming along this way. I don't see anything for the moment. We've got a lot of momentum. Hopefully nothing comes up in my blind spot. No, we're good. Awesome. Slow it down here. You know, there's one thing I wonder about, and that's, you know, do people really understand about shipping to Hawaii? You know, speaking about things to wait. The guy that shipped my video card said, you know, whoa, sorry, I got a little distracted. Guy that shipped my video card said, you know, they must have got the shipping mixed up when he went in and paid for it because it's standard shipping. And then another guy saying, the other guy that sent my keyboard, you know, same thing. He sent his I don't know why I'm doing that. He sent his via media post, which I don't know how that was even possible, because the keyboard, yeah, that's what I thought, because the keyboard is not something that qualifies for media post. Although I kind of get the idea of how that may have happened. They probably asked the dude what he was shipping, and he said, oh, I'm shipping a keyboard. And whoever did that is more music than computer in terms of what they like. And they were thinking, oh, you know, keyboard, you know, kind of like synthesizer kind. Well, you know, you can get a special deal shipping that if you use this media mail. And they never actually bothered to look to see that it's a computer keyboard and not a musical keyboard. But whatever the case. Now, the thing is, and this is not something I will do, in Hawaii, I could take such advantage of that. I really, really could. Both items were supposed to be delivered by now. My video card was supposed to be delivered days ago, and still won't be here for at least another week. Keyboard was supposed to be delivered today. I could easily go to eBay and claim false advertisement about shipping, and I could force an issue and get either part, if not all, of my money back, and then just keep the item when it shows up. Very easy to do. Now, that's not something I'm going to do. As a matter of fact, I've contacted both people and let them know, hey, you said that it was expedient shipping, but you've sent it standard shipping. And even though eBay's saying it's going to be here by this time, the reality is, if you look at the UPS website or the Postal Service website, it says it's not going to be here till much, much later. And I told them what could happen in a situation like that. No point passing here. We're just going to turn up there onto that highway real soon. So I told them both, what could happen, and they're both very appreciative of it. And I gave them little information saying, you know what, it makes sense to either A, just not ship to Hawaii anymore, say you're not going to ship to Hawaii, or put a notation somewhere that says, shipments to Hawaii and Alaska, will take longer. Shipments to Hawaii and Alaska will be done via standard shipping and will take longer, at least 2 to 4 weeks, if not more. I think that makes the best sense. Hang on just a sec, please. I apologize. You may have gotten a little wind interference on the microphone, and I just had to tend to that real quick. All is well. All is well. I don't get why people have such problems shipping to Hawaii to begin with. I understand shipping bigger things, like the vacuum and the fans they have coming, can be a bit of an issue. The package for all 3 of those is 15 pounds. Almost 16, I think. And that kind of weight can be a bit of an issue. So, fine, but it's still not all that bad. I'm just going to hog the middle of the road here, make it easier for me to pull out. I want to roll up to where I can see a little bit better. Hopefully I'm not rolled up too far. I probably am, because he's stopping. Too low. Still too low, but it'll be alright. It just grunt its way out. So, I can understand that, but other packages, even with their weight, it's the size of the package that really matters. Like, the dude that sent me the power supply for my wife's computer, the power supply is a fairly heavy item. You just pack it, really well, like this guy did, into a flat rate box and send it along. Cost you $5 to $7, and it would reach here in a couple days. Oh, thank you, phone. You always know exactly when to ring. Excuse me a moment, please. The video was going so well, and in the end, these little things had happened, but that's what happens when you don't have a private recording room, and I definitely don't. To me, they can be annoying, but they also just add to the flavor of the video. Oh yay, rain. Ooh, slow down. Sorry, I didn't mean to just bomb into the middle of your... Come on, get in gear. Thank you. I didn't mean to bomb into the middle of everything. I'm a little distracted at the moment, but we're almost done. Yeah, so I apologize for the phone call. Couldn't help it. Not a big deal, I hope. And as I was saying, flat rate boxes, they don't cover everything, but they can cover most things that I definitely order. They actually have flat rate boxes that they've put out that they even specifically mentioned are sized for keyboards that you could put a keyboard into. You know, and they actually have, I don't know why I've run up so tired all of a sudden. This has not been a very long run, but whatever. But, you know, they do have them. The video card could easily be put into a flat rate box. Keyboard could be put into a flat rate box. I could have had them by now. Now, to be fair, the guy that's sending me the keyboard refunded me $5 for the information. So basically, he refunded me some of the shipping at least. So I appreciate that. The other guy just kind of said, you know, well, thank you, which is fine. I wasn't actually asking for anything, just to be honest. I wasn't looking for refunds. I wasn't looking for refunds or money back or anything special. I just want to let them know, hey, you're shipping to Hawaii. You need to take that into consideration when you're shipping. Otherwise, people could take advantage of you. But it just seems like people tend to think Hawaii is like somewhere in the vicinity of the moon. And I really don't know why. Because honestly, it's not. We're right here. Yes, we're out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, but still, you know? Not a little too much, but should be able to fix it. Oh, we got almost a straight back in. Nice. Oh. Ah, oversteering. Stop it. There we go. Nice. Very nice. Alright, so my final thoughts on the DAF XF Euro 6 as opposed to the DAF. Well, again, just kind of rehashing the stuff I went over. To me, it looks better. It manages to capture the look of a DAF while bringing it into a modernized look. The windshield is just bigger, brighter, better. The mirrors, bigger, brighter, better. The dashboard, bigger, brighter, better. It even has an in-dash GPS, so you don't need the floating GPS in the game to drive. You can go without it and give yourself a more authentic feel. The interior looks better. It doesn't look like it comes somewhere out of the 70s. The feel of the truck when it drives just feels better. The engine sounds better. Even the directionals sound more like a truck than a car. It just steers better. It's still as stable as a brick just sitting there. We didn't throw it too hard into any corners, but we still took some pretty decent corners with it at a pretty decent speed, and it still just took them straight. Well, you know what I mean, took them level. There was no hint of losing control. It accelerated really strong. It hit the brakes really well. Overall, it is just a 100% improvement over the old DAF. The Euro 6 is an amazing truck. You get a stronger engine, better mirrors, better windshield, better dashboard. Overall, you just get a better truck. If I was to rate this right now versus everything else going by my old list, it would easily rate number 4. Maybe even tied for number 3. The only reason for me that I would rank and it would be tied with or just under the Man is because the Man truck just has a so much more powerful engine when you upgrade it. When you upgrade a Man truck, you can go so much more powerful, like 650 horsepower versus 510. But we got to keep in mind that this is in terms of beginner trucks. And as a beginner truck, The DAF Euro 6 is easily top 3. It really, really is. It's up there with the crowd favorite Scania and the technical, most powerful, best starting truck Volvo in terms of my old list. It's really just that good of a truck to drive. And if you're looking to drive DAF as your first truck, definitely get the Euro 6 over the XF. It is worth doing. It's that simple. All right, let's hit us up truck dealers. Now we've done both beginner DAFs, so that means we go to Iveco or Iveco. Iveco, whatever. Yes. So there are two. That's the truck. Yeah. I don't know if you can do the Iveco Highway as a starter truck. I don't think you can, because its list price is 176,000 euros. I need to look back at my old my other account, which is still only like level 4, and see how it compares in there. If I could actually buy a Stralis right off, if I even have an Iveco open, an Iveco Highway rather. So this one's just an upgraded version of this, basically. It's just more powerful engine, all that. So this will be the next truck that we go over. The Iveco Stralis 4x2 Active Space. So, that being said, let's just back out of here. No, I don't want to actually buy the truck this time. That being said, DAF Euro 6, a massive improvement over the DAF XF. In terms of beginning trucks, in terms of trucks that you may want to buy right out of the bat, 410 horsepower is a really powerful engine to start with in comparison to a lot of other trucks. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure only one other truck has a stronger engine than the DAF Euro 6 when starting. And, you know, stability for 4x2, enjoyment to drive, smoothness, safeness, good views and all that. The DAF could easily be number 2 in terms of starting trucks. It really could. I said top 3, and I think that's still a little bit of bias because, as anyone may know, I am actually a Scania fan. Excuse me. I love Scania trucks. But in terms of starting trucks, if I break everything down to its minimum basics and just going by technicalities, by specs, by driving and fun, the DAF Euro 6 is actually, as it stands right now, probably the number 2 truck in terms of trucks to start with. So there you go. Pretty simple. If you're looking for a good starting truck and don't want to go with the biggest and most powerful and obvious choice, which we'll see much later on in my breakdown history. Definitely the DAF, you can't go wrong with it as a starting truck. You may want to change out to a different truck once you get into the higher ends, but as a starting truck, man, you can't go wrong. You really can't. So, enough babbling for me. The DAF Euro 6, definitely I would say number 2, as opposed to the DAF XF, which is the final, which is the last truck, the bottom ranking truck in the list. Anyways, that's going to be me done for this, folks. I hope you've enjoyed watching this as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter, although I don't actually use my Facebook that much, and I don't use my Twitter that much. In case you want to get tweets about when my videos come out, when you want to get Facebook postings of when my videos come out, rather than actually having to check YouTube, they'll also come out there. So, there you go. Other than that, this is going to be one big bugger. I am going to be signing out, and I'll see you next time on Picking Your First Truck.